In late autumn, the forest becomes something else. It seems to fall silent. Yet within that silence, something heavy and unseen is born. Branches creak without wind, fog crawls between the trees, and the paths that felt familiar during the day turn into traps at night. It was into such a forest that two tourists, Marco and Alenka, set out. They were experienced hikers, used to sleeping under the open sky, never afraid of the dark. But this time, the darkness was not afraid of them. It was waiting. When their flashlights began to flicker and their phones lost signal, Marco noticed a faint yellow glow between the trees. It trembled like the flame of a candle. Deep in the forest stood an old cabin, crooked, with a sagging roof and black windows like empty eye sockets. The door was slightly open, and from inside, from the darkness, came a quiet creaking sound, like someone slowly rocking back and forth on the floor. "We need to spend the night here," Alenka whispered, clutching her backpack. The cold was already creeping beneath their jackets. They stepped inside. The air was stale, heavy with the smell of damp wood. In the corner stood an iron stove, and beside it a table covered in a thick layer of dust. But on the table lay a fresh candle, and it was burning. "Someone's here," Marco said quietly. Suddenly the door slammed shut behind them. The wind? No, the night outside was completely still. The flashlight died for good. The only light came from the candle, its flame twitching strangely, as if reacting to someone's breath. Then they heard footsteps, slow, shuffling, from the attic. The stairs creaked, once, twice, as if someone were carefully descending, savoring every moment of their fear. "There's no one here!" Marco shouted, trying to convince himself more than Alenka. He rushed to the door, but the handle wouldn't budge. The windows were boarded shut. The footsteps stopped. A thick, unnatural silence filled the room. And then, right behind them, someone whispered, "You're too late." Alenka screamed and spun around. At the table, where a moment ago there had been no one, sat an old woman. Her face was pale, her eyes dark hollows. She smiled too widely. "The forest does not release those who lose their way," she said softly. "You belong to it now." The candle went out. In the darkness, new footsteps echoed. Not just one set, dozens, as if a crowd had gathered around the cabin, knocking against the walls, whispering beneath the windows, scratching at the door. Marco grabbed Alenka's hand in the dark. They closed their eyes, bracing for the worst. And then, silence. When they opened their eyes, morning light filled the room. The cabin door stood open. Inside, nothing. No old woman, no candle, no trace of the night. "It was just a dream," Alenka whispered. They ran from the cabin, stumbling through the trees. A few hundred meters later, they burst out onto a highway. Later, the rescue workers told them there was no cabin in that forest. There never had been. Old maps showed no buildings there at all. Marco and Alenka never went hiking again. But sometimes, in the middle of the night, they wake up thinking they see a faint yellow light trembling in the corner of the room. And they hear a quiet, familiar whisper, "You're too late."